And with that, please welcome our fearless leader for our SwiftUI study group, Betty, and you can go ahead and take it over.
Thank you, Sierra. I will share my screen. And happy to be in this session for a study group on SwiftUI. And if you want to contact me, ask question, or don't hesitate to go to betty.dev. There are all my information, mail, and so on. Just to remember, the spirit of this group is to learn together, to ask questions if you want. We will do it step by step, and also if you want to make a breaking room, you just ask for it. And just before I start a new chapter, and the goal is to give you a routine each week, and to follow the way of learning of Apple Learning Platform, and to feel confident. Yes, don't hesitate to, as Sierra mentioned just before, our Slack channel group in Slack. It's really very interesting to be supported by the other. The goal is to learn SwiftUI and the basic of SwiftUI. And for that, if you have things that going wrong or question that you will ask today, I will add in this wiki. To sometimes things are missing in tutorial, so I try to put the wiki here. Concretely, we will build an application, and which is called a Schrödinger. And the input of this SwiftUI series are there. We are at the third one, navigation, and today we will continue on navigation, and also passing data, but the main input will be navigation, and the data flow to begin. And we will we will finish what we are beginning the last week. So we were here at the section 4 of the creating a navigation hierarchy. So you can follow me by downloading the zip that is in the GitHub. So that's what I did, and by opening exactly the same code of last week. So I will follow the tutorial in part of the screen, the code, and the other part, the tutorial. Last week, we were in the detail view here, and it was not clearly mentioned, but we should have to add a padding of 4. It was not written on the left. So today we will do it. We can see just here what the difference. It's also interesting to see the difference. So if I have a padding, you can see that it's much better. So now we can begin with that part, and I will remove this this screen. So iterate through attendees. Now the goal is to iterate. How is it possible, or easily possible in Swift, is to use for each. So go in our model, And before we can iterate, we have to create data. And so here, create an extension. So be careful, not in the struct, because it's an extension of what? Of daily Scrum. It's usual to create extension with, sometimes we create a new Swift file to do that. It depends on the size of the size of the application. So here, attendee, that identifiable, and of course your code won't compile until you add an ID property. So let's do it. So let's ID UUID and a var name string. This is a string. And so now everything is good. So now it's compiled. You have to init your struct like that. So ID UUID equal UUID in order to have directly the data. So self ID equal ID, and the same for the same for the name image. Why? Betty. Control I. Oh, sorry. It or self ID. Xcode is not agree and is right. Control I. Now it's better. So here, so we had an initializer that assign a default value to the ID property. So now we can also update the attendees type just here. And for that, we will map. And the mapping is really useful. It's as it is mentioned, creates a new collection by iterating over and applying a transformation of each element. Which element? This, and with name and $0. It's mean each element. And I have to put a space in order to be correct. And so now I can change this array of string to be more precise and to have my be careful with attendees and attendees. Okay, update the attendee types to attendee, then map. Okay, and now that attendee names are uniquely notifiable, you can add the attendee to the detail view. So in the detail view, I will create another section. So let's go to detail view. And here I have, as I mentioned, in order to know where is it beginning and where is it the end, you click just after the curly bracket, and yeah, you agree now. In order, Betty, in order, header, and you had the text and attendees. Okay, and now what will be put inside? But for each. So inside we will put the for each, and the Scrum, the for each of what? The for each of attendees. Can now see the screen. Okay, do you see my screen? Yes, of course. You see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Sorry. Had to
I
find the
saw
mute, unmute.
I saw messaging if I was alone. So let's put it's those for each. I will sometime not easy. Voilà. Okay, and just on the other side. So my for each, so Scrum attendee in. So add for each. Okay, here add for each to dynamically generate the list of attendees. Add a label. Generate, yes, but generate what and what kind of UI. So here I say attendee name. I will ask for each name of the attendees and put beautiful thing person. System image person. As we mentioned the other weeks, system image, and it's come from SF symbol, an application from Apple, which is provide a lot of icon image. So be careful about if you put, I don't know, it will not work, another letter, or it will not work, and you will pulling your hair out. Add a label to display it only with person icon. That's okay. And now we will navigate between screen. And so here we can just have a look at what we did. Resume. And to navigate between screen, you had to add navigation link, but we're in the detail view. So recall that in scroll view.swift, you set the navigation destination is navigation link to detail views. Now you finish setting the navigation hierarchy for detail view. So in the here just above the section, you will encapsulate just this part here in a navigation link. You have the choice to put the thing inside and after put the navigation. So I will do it that way. And here you can add there's a lot of way of doing navigation to what? Navigation to meeting view. Don't forget the parentheses. And so it is wrap that's in the navigation link. Adding navigation link, wrap the label in a gesture recognizer so that user can tap this row to transition to the meeting type screen. And also the really interesting thing that is that the SwiftUI do all the job for us, and especially the back button. You do not have to create it. It is included in the package of SwiftUI. Display the Scrum. Now we have to display. Is it everything okay? Yes, we have to display the Scrum title by setting navigation title on the list. So at the beginning, where is the list, the end of the list? I can do up here. So here I put a navigation title. Which title? The Scrum title. And everything seems okay. Run your app in simulator to verify you can navigate between the lists. And the SwiftUI automatically includes a navigation when pushing and popping from the navigation link. And here it is for this part, which is creating navigation. Now I will introduce the data flow. And after that, if you want to make a breaking room, as Catherine as mentioned the last week. Feel free to say if you want to do a breaking room just before the following, the next things. So here, yes, interesting things we will keep. It is come from here, this part. So now how we manage the data, and it is so when we click here at the end of what we did, you just have to go forward, and you have exactly the same information. So there is a state and a binding, which are so yeah, I did exactly the same diagram. So in Swift, it is a property wrapper. And the thing that it is not mentioned is that state is when you are in a struct, and if you are addressing a class, you just have to put state object just after, but it's the same, it is the same way, the same relation between data. It's all about to which type of struct that you are calling. So a state, when you declare a property as a state, you create a source of trust within the view. The system identifies all elements of a view that depends on the value of state property. So user interaction might change your state property. And as you will see just after you, I think always put states in private state, a private var, etc., because it's only used in the struct and can be called from outside of the struct. The system renders new version of the UI by updating any view that depend on that property. And it is very, very useful. We use it a lot for Boolean, and state property are really, really useful. So when a state property value changes, the system, as you can see here, action, mutation, state, the system updates a value of the property. For example, when a user modifies a scrum in Scrumniger, Scrum view redraw the list to show the update values. And also the interesting part is that it redraw the view, and the worst part is that it redraw the view. Sometimes you have to be careful of that in big application, big application, not this one. You have to be careful of that, the fact that the concept is to redraw the view. So sometimes it's a bit messy. Because state properties help manage transit states like the highlight states of the button, filter settings, or currently selected list item, declare state property as private already, and avoid using them for persisting storage. And the state property wrapper is SwiftUI syntax for defining a mutable source of trust that's local to your view structure. And now binding. Property that you wrap in binding shares read and write access with an existing source of trust, like a struct property. A binding doesn't store the data directly. Instead, it creates two-way connectivity between an existing source of trust and a view that displays and updates data. And the cool thing in Xcode that with the auto completion, when you add a state variable with the auto completion, Xcode show you that you have to add the dollar just in front of the binding variable. So this pattern of using binding to propagate a single source of trust is effectively for a number of levels of your hierarchy. Okay. And that's the explanation. And now I made something. So now creating. Now to do this, we will create the edit view. And but first we will create data. So do you want to make, do you have question, or do you want to make a break moment?
Any questions?
Maybe in the chat, maybe in the chat. So now we can split. We can split the team. It's possible. So
Oh, I'm going to have to drop at 1. So I'm sorry, this is Sandy. I'm going to have to drop at 1. So don't put me in a team. I apologize about that. I have a conflict.
okay. Okay. So in the chat, who want to work together during 5 or 10 minutes, and who want to continue in that way with me coding with the tutorial on one side directly. Sure. Yes. Yes, we can. 5-10 minutes. Yes. For example.
Yeah. Do you want me to go ahead and oh, we have conflicting answers.
Tutorial is good. I don't mind continuing. So we need another opinion to have 4. Tutorial is good. Esther, what is the meaning of perfect? Okay, so let's continue. Maybe the next time. Let's go. So here we will create an edit view. But before, we have to create new data type inside our daily Scrum. And so in daily Scrum Swift, define the data structure inside an extension of daily Scrum. Just this time it is inside the extension, but outside of the struct, obviously. And struct, it is called struct data with variable title, with attendees, and a string of attendee, and the length in minutes, in double, and a theme about another struct, which is a themes. So user adjust a meeting length with a slider view. We will create a slider view, and the reason that it is not an int, it is a double, is because sliders need a double value. And by making, interesting thing, by making a nested type, the fact that a struct here is in that position, we keep daily struct that data distinct from the data structure defined in the foundation framework. Yes, sometimes it is interesting when you call the data outside in JSON and so on, to keep to know how and to keep nested type. So assign default value to all property. So here I assign empty string, here empty array, here a 5, and here a C form. If all property have default value, the compiler creates an initializer that takes no argument. With this initializer, you can create a new instance by calling data. So here you've got a link to know more about initialization. And now we can add a variable, a computed data property. And so just after the struct, so var data inherit from data, and inside I only put data, and Swift give me all the things inside. So I will put title, 10 days, double here, it's a length minutes, yes, and the team is team, and that's okay. So remember to cast length is minute to a double. All those properties have a matching type. And now that we have create data, we can add an edit view for Scrum details. So create a new SwiftUI view. I prefer to say Command N to create a SwiftUI view. So here, and I will call it an edit view and pull it just above. And here in the, so it is create. I made a mistake. I should have to call it detail edit view. So I can, there is a lot of way of doing. I can refactor, rename. Sometimes it takes too much time. Okay, so daily, no, did die edit view. Everybody is okay. So rename, and all is renamed, not this one. So I have to rename a detail edit view for the preview. Everything is good. Yes. So now I can add a state property for the famous data. So here, as we have learned just before, we should have to put the variable private, and we call our data here to initialize here. So recall that data property wrapper define the source of truth for value types. So again, private. And now inside it's not hello world, it is a form with a section. Replace the text view with a form. So here a form. Inside the form there is a section with an header. And here the text is up. The text, I put the text is minting info, and the content just return, and it will open the closure. You have to, in order not to have warning, you just delete the display order. So the form container automatically adapt the appearance of control when it renders on different platform. So now I have to add a text field inside section, add a text field for the meeting title. So here is my text field. I put a title, and just after that, I put a text. And as I mentioned, you notice that it is written binding here. So you know that you don't have the choice. You have to put $, just before data that title to bind that the data text field takes a binding to a string. You can use the $sign syntax to create a binding to data that title. The current view manage the data of the data property. And now we had maybe I can resume in order to view at the same time. Yes. So we've got the section. Now the H tag is inside my section. Yes, inside my section. Add a H tag and a slider for the meeting's length. Is the slider label closure. Add a text view. So H tag. Inside the H tag, a beautiful slider. And what's in a value? You can write value or you can add value in, but you have to put a $sign data that length in minutes. Here it is a range of 5, 1, 2, 3. Sorry. And it is mentioned here. Yeah, a slider store a double from a continuous range that you specify. Passing a step value of 1 limit the user to choosing whole number. So step 1. And so the text view won't appear on screen, but VoiceOver use it to identify the person of the slider. But where is the text slide? Maybe after. Add a text view. Okay, here. So here I will add a text with length. And you can play with it. You have to play and click on the play button in order to play with navigation or slider. And add a spacer and text to display the meeting length. Here, a spacer. And after that, a text. I do in that way. I always put all the text inside and inside the parentheses you have to transform the data length minute in an int. That's the reason why it is called like that. No warning, no warning. And it is displayed 5 minutes just here. Next, you will add another section to form to display the Scrum attendees. Here, display attendees in the edit view. Do you have question? Or I continue to chat. I'm dropping for another meeting. No. Okay, no question. Okay. So display attendees in the edit view. So we have to create a second session in the form. So just go curly bracket again, just a section here, arg section with either of text attend placeholder tricky attendees, and here again the return button to open the, or maybe not, Command Z again. Be careful with that. Command Z. I will do it again in order not to lost my parentheses. That's what I did here. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So my section here, H tag, section here. So after this one, section, and I will write header in order to follow my parentheses. Sometimes it's easy to be lost in the number of parentheses. And now after the 2-1, I will put the closure. So sometimes you have to count the number of curly brackets here. And when you do not understand the warning, it's 100% sure that you have lost a curly bracket. Now inside the section, we can add a for each view and display each attendee in a text view. So here again, my for each with my data, attendees, and I have my attendees, and in my attendees, I have a text attendee, and I will looking for the name. So it will display each attendee in the text view. So now we have everything is okay, and add an onDelete modifier to remove attendee from the Scrum data. And just after the for each onDelete, and can do it like that or return. So index set, it is called indices. The framework called the closure you pass to onDelete when the user swipe to delete a row. So here, what do we want to delete? We want to delete data, attendees, remove, and be careful between the at and the at offset. We are specifying indices, so we want offset here, and this indices, and the onDelete is ready. So now we can add a new property just above this one. It is called state private var new attendee name equal an empty string. Did I miss something? No. Did tell you missing argument for body? Is side 1, 2, 3, 4? No. Control B. Control B no succeed. Sometime when it's automatically build and you are writing code, or you open a closure and put nothing inside, Xcode is mad. It's feeling mad. So you can put Control B to build, and to check it that it was just a joke. Alors, will all the new attendee name or property will all the attendee name that the user enter at the H tag containing a text field inside my section after the onDelete H tag. Inside I put a text field. A text field with what? With new attendee, and here we will add a text, my binding. So $new attendee name. Okay, the binding keeps need attendee name in sync with the content of the text field. It doesn't affect the original daily Scrum model data. Now we will add a button with an empty action and an image label, but where? Just after the text field, here a button. There's a lot of way of doing a button, depends on the version of Swift. So here we call the action, and after the action, empty no action. For currently, we will add it just after, and I open a closure. And empty action, yeah, no action, empty action. And so in the system image, and here, be careful, plus circle that fill. Okay. And add an animation block to create a new attendee. So the animation in the action. So I go inside the action and click on the return button. And here I add my animation. And in order to not have warning, I remove that placeholder and animation that create a new attendees that happen the new attendees to the attendees array. So here I create a new attendee equal what equal day scrum my attendee and which part only the name. And we can do that because we have already give a data. That's why we initialize at the beginning in order to be able to give new information only at the variable that we want, name, not ID currently. So now we will can do it up like this. And let's attendee. So we'll add, so append the data attendee, add to what? Not this one, not this one. Append, I prefer this one, new element, attendee, and something is missing. Yes, set a new attendee name to an empty string inside the animation block. So, wow, new attendee name equal empty strings. Okay. So you can see our image circle. Yeah. Because the text field is binding to new attendee name, setting the value to the empty string, also clear the content of the text field. And it's much better in SwiftUI to say something in for the UI, for the view, for just if there is nothing, it's empty string is a good thing. Disable the button if new attendee name is empty. How can we do that? We can do that by adding just after the image here. So yeah, just after the image, disable system, disable the system. It's the end of the day for me. That's the reason why. No excuse. Continue. So disable what? Disable the button if new attendee is empty. Communication interaction states is important when displaying controls in the user interface. Adding this modifier prevent user from mistakenly saving an attendee without a name. Yes, something is better than nothing for SwiftUI. So now accessibility, we will add accessibility modifier, but you already did that the other day. Set the accessibility value for the slider. So where is my slider? Here. And accessibility. And it is also a modifier value accessibility value. What do you want me to put inside? We transform this data in an int, this double in an int. So and then don't forget here, just minutes. So the accessibility value now is done for the slider. I hide the text view from VoiceOver. What is a way to hide? If I put hidden, yes, it's working. He give me accessibility hidden, and it is true. I want to hide reindentation. If you want to reindent, Control Control I. Hide the information from VoiceOver. Okay, all the information that VoiceOver needs is the accessibility value from the slider. Another accessibility label is in the image. The plus button, yes. Just here, the plus button, and we put accessibility label, and we add attendee. And that's okay. So now we will present the edit view. It's so beautiful, but hidden. So we have to present the edit view. Now that you created an edit view, you need to present it to user. In this section, you will add a button to detail view. When the user tap to the edit button here, the app present detail view edit as a modal view. The cosing is yes. Modal is that kind of movements from the above, from the bottom of the application. In detail view, add a state. So here I can go to in detail view, and in detail view now I will add this edit button. How can I do that? By adding a state private var is presenting edit view equal false, like as mentioned, Boolean. A lot of Boolean you will create in SwiftUI. It's really useful in order to know the state and to control the behavior of the view. So it's happy with my state private var is presenting edit view. Add sheet modifier on list. When is presenting edit view change to true, the app present detail edit view using a modal sheet that partially covers the underlying content. You can also use sometimes toggle. So I will put the sheet view just above navigation title. So what is it is presenting? Be careful. So it is a modifier. It is another modifier. And sometimes, especially in the text modifiers, be careful about the position. This is the first position, the second position. Sometimes it's not working. For example, if you want to have a corner radius, sometimes it's not working if you put a frame like this, and it depends. If you realize that it's not working, change the position. Put, for example, the corner radius at the first position or the second, and it will work. The position is important. So, but here doesn't care. Binding. So binding mean $$ is presenting my content in a closure. I remove the placeholder, and at the place of the placeholder, I put detail edit view like this. It's allowed to show the detail edit view when this variable is switched to true. Sometimes we use a toggle to do that. Modal view, remove user for the main navigation flow of the app. Use modality for short, self-contained task. Wait, true. True. For more information about that different type of model presentation, use modality effective in your house, modality in the human interface guideline. So now we will add a toolbar, and before, just above the navigation, but here we will have a toolbar. I prefer, you have two choices. You can do a toolbar like this or a toolbar as it is mentioned here. No, toolbar with only curly bracket. It's the same. Less text in this one. So we'll keep this one. And here we will add a button, my famous button, my edit button, and the button have action is presented view is true. So embed detail. Oh, navigation view already done. No, shit. Okay. In navigation, embed detail edit view in navigation view. Can I do a command here? Not sure. Embed. No, there is not. We can embed in the VStack subview. Not sure we can embed directly a navigation view and copy paste this one inside the navigation view. Control I. Everything is okay. So I've got my toolbar with the edit button. I've got the navigation view. So embed, set the navigation title of the edit view. Here we have a navigation title here, navigation title, scrum, that title here. You need a toolbar to offer different action when the user is editing a scrum, that when they are viewing a scrum, add a toolbar add a toolbar button that indicate to the user that they are canceling changing to the scrum details, dismiss detail edit view in the cancel button action. So here we have our sheet. We have the navigation view, the detail view, the navigation, and just above we will add a toolbar. And the toolbar, a toolbar, and in the toolbar, a precise item. So in order to add to personalize the toolbar with a toolbar item, we will put the thing that is provided by Swift, and here, not sure if it is really comfortable for you. Toolbar item, we put this kind of item and remove the placeholder. Too much warning. So what's happened in that item? We will have a button which is called cancel, and what's happened now? It's say dismiss, so false. Presenting view, dismiss to presenting view. Is it missing something? Missing argument, maybe again my curly bracket 333. We'll see after that. So okay, add a toolbar that indicate do you dismiss. That's done. Yes. And add another toolbar that indicates to the user that they are saving, changing, dismiss, detail, edit view in the done button action. So inside the toolbar, another specific item with my placement, which is just to see the other one. So I will do that before. No. I want to see placement. So sorry. Confirmation. Yeah. And after I have to do because he will not give me the placement parts. So inside this, I will put a button in order to save, and it is presenting equal false also. It's okay. But only have to confirm that the view appears. And that's it. Yes, resume. And you've got here the edit button. And also the cool thing is that everything is ready is in function directly. The view is creating and dismiss. So the cancel button, and don't forget to, sometimes it doesn't work the first time. You have to start again and to put command B in the application, and it will work. Have you got a question? Sorry, too. No question. It's amazing, curly bracket. So true. Yeah. No question. Okay. So see you not next week, because you have to go to the another meeting at the same time. In it's about salary, and it's really important to listen and to listen to the advice. And that's the reason why we have decided with Sierra to put the other session of the SwiftUI series the next week again.
And I did update the date, so they're correctly reflected on the website as well.
Okay. See you in 2 weeks.
Hopefully see everyone next week.
Yeah. For the SwiftUI. For the SwiftUI. For the SwiftUI.
Thank you, Betty, so much for doing this. It's always so exciting to see this study group coming all the way full circle, because I feel like it's one of the first things we talked about together. So thank you all so much for being here, and I will see everyone hopefully again next week in 2 weeks for SwiftUI.
Exactly. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.